Hey guys, Matt from Mr. Matt's Arcade here. Today I wanted to introduce you to my brand new model. This is my brand new 4-player, full-size stand-up cabinet that I've dubbed the BFC 9000. Stands for Big Effin' Cabinet. It's set up for 4 players. You got your trackball in the middle. You got your on-off switch on the top here. The width of the cabinet is 35.5 inches. The width of the control panel is 48 inches. The height of the cabinet is 72 inches. This one comes with a 32-inch monitor, an LED color changing trackball. Players 1 and 2 have 6 buttons. Player 3 and player 4 each have 4 buttons. And it's running the Pandora's Box DX. Let's take a closer look. So when you load it loads up to the game selection screen. To navigate the games, you can go up or down to go game by game, left to right to go page by page. You can hold it to scroll faster. The other way to look for games is press the player 1 start button. That brings up this menu over here. You have recent games, search by name, 3D games, 3 and 4 player, fighting, action, shooting, sports, and puzzles. And right down here, it tells you what buttons to use to navigate. So let's go up to 3 and 4 player games. Press the A button. And this game board comes with over 100 3 and 4 player games. Lots of great ones on here. Alright, let's go back and let's load up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's always a fun one. You press the A button, player 1 A button, to load up the game. Then you press the player start buttons. Now we have all 4 players. When you're ready to exit, you press the button that's labeled either exit or pause. And it brings up the pause menu. In the pause menu, you can press continue to go back to your game. And then some of the games support save state and load state. If we did save state, exited out, came back in later, and did load state, it would pick up right where we left off. To exit, you go down to exit and hit the A button. And that kicks us back to the main menu. The DX board comes with 3,000 games stock. The search and category functions only work on the stock 3,000 games. Starting at 3001 are some of the added games. So I added some more classic arcade games that we're missing, as well as a lot of these are trackball compatible games. And some added versions of Mortal Kombat. A lot of classics that we're missing and games that I personally really like that weren't on here. And the majority of these are also trackball compatible. And then starting here, these are original Nintendo games. And then Super Nintendo games. Sega Genesis games. And PlayStation 1 games. This specific cabinet came with the deluxe coin door, so it can be set to take quarters. Right now it's set on free play. And then right inside the door on the right hand side is your volume control. And then right above is a button that gets you into the settings menu. These settings only work on the stock 3000 games, not on the added games. Also to note, the search and category functions also only work on the stock 3000, not the added games. Now let's take a closer look at the settings menu. So you open up your coin door and there'll be a button that you can press that brings you into the settings menu. In the settings menu, there's a few things to show you here. One is your I/O test, and over here it tells you what buttons to use to navigate the menu. So A to go into the I/O test. In here you can test your buttons and joysticks. If you thought you had one that wasn't working, you could come in here to diagnose it before attempting a repair. Right now, everything's working. You press start and A to go back. Then the other thing to show you is the system config. In here, this first one is how we would switch it to go from free play to credits. This would be 1 coin equals 1 credit. And then a couple other things to show you. One is quality optimization. It adds a smoothing filter on the games. Some people think it makes the games look better on LCD screens. The other one is the scanning line filter. This one tries to recreate the original scan lines that were on CRT monitors. Some games look good with these filters, some don't. It's kind of just personal preference and something to play around with. Start goes back. Then the other thing to show you is game settings. This only applies to the stock 3000 games, but you can edit the difficulty and lives of some of the games. You can edit the games list, and you can edit the favorites list. So if we go into edit games list, in here you can hide games from the list. When you hide them, it puts a little mark next to them. And then if we were to restart the system, those games would no longer show on the menu. That's good for if there's any games that you don't want your kids playing, you can hide them. If you want to narrow down some of the games list, get rid of some of the different versions of Street Fighter or King of Fighter, or if you want to narrow it down to just your top favorites, you can go ahead and do that. So that way you don't have to scroll through all the games if there's only a handful that you like to play. Start goes back. The other thing to show you is the favorites list. In here, you can mark games favorite, puts a little star next to them. And then when we restart the system, those will show up at the front of your list. So this is a great way to mark your favorite games, the ones that you play the most, so that way you can quickly find them because they'll be at the beginning of the list. Start goes back. Start goes back. And then when you're all done, you go down to save settings and reboot. And now if we made any changes, they would show up right now. And one thing to note about this particular cabinet, it still has the plastic over the monitor, as I'm going to be delivering this one this weekend. So I wanted to keep the plastic on there and till it gets delivered. All right, guys. Thanks for checking this out, and game on, my friends.